Hi, my name's Hans and today we'll be showing you how to change the water pump on a Triumph Stag engine. As you can see, we've removed the inlet manifold and now we can get to the water pump housing. This has 3 bolts on the top which we need to remove, and then we can remove the cover. We've removed the 3 bolts and the top cover will come up if we lever it up. It'll probably be quite stiff, but this one's been off recently so it'll come off quite easily. Right, to remove the water pump it'll come out one of 2 ways. This little nut on the top, which is a left-hand thread, will either unscrew and leave the water pump in the position, or it'll actually unwind and the whole unit will come out in one piece. Until we try it we don't really know, so we need to put 19mm socket on and actually do it clockwise and see what happens. As you can see, it's coming up and it's actually unwound itself and come out very easily actually. The second scenario on removing the water pump is that this will actually unscrew and leave the water pump and cage stuck in the block. So as you can see, turn it clockwise and the nut comes out, bolt comes off. We can now attach a slide hammer and drive it out upwards. We have here a specially adapted slide hammer for removing the water pump, available from Rimmer Brothers. We can just screw that, remembering it's a left-handed thread, into the position where the bolt was removed. Once it's fully home, we can then use the weight to lift and slowly draw the water pump outwards. Okay, now we need to inspect the gear wheel on the jackshaft to make sure the teeth are not worn and there's not chipped or any damage on there. We can rotate the crankshaft to have a look at all the teeth, and if they're fine, that's just left to replace the bush which is at the bottom. To remove the bush, and this is the new one, it's easy to show you before I take the old one out, we need a special expanding extractor which, as I show, slides through the bush, and then when this is turned it opens up and locks underneath. With a slide hammer we can then pull the bush out. Okay, we've inserted the slide hammer past the bush and expanded it so it should be gripping on the underneath of the bush. We shall now see how well it comes out. Oh yes. We have just now inserted the bush with some long nose pliers into the top. Now we're going to drive it home with a punch. I shall be using this punch to mainly drive the bush down, and then I shall do something smaller just to home it in position. After fitting the new bush, we need to clean up the faces where the water pump will fit. To stop any dirt and bits falling into the side of the engine, I've put some paper towel nice and snugly in there to catch any dirt and debris that falls in. I'm using some Scotch-Brite and I'm just carefully cleaning all the rust that's accumulated on the cast iron block. We're just applying some washing up liquid to the faces inside here where the O-rings will fit on the brass cage, but on the gear pump I'm going to put some spray grease so that lubricates the gear wheels. Carefully lower it into the housing and notice turning it anti-clockwise and tap it down with a mallet and it should fitted. Before we fit the new cover, I'm just going to explain that we removed a 6 vane water pump, but we're actually fitting a 12 vane. It doesn't really matter which one you fit, as long as you fit the right housing for the right pump. This is a really corroded one and there's no way we're going to fit this one back, so this is for the scrap heap. But it shows you the angle of this bit compared to a 12 vane. Here we have a 12 vane, and as you can see, it's a lot different angle on the face, and it's important that you fit the right cover with the right pump. We need now to shim up the water pump cover so there's the right running clearance between the impeller vanes and the water pump cover. So we loosely fit the cover and then just loosely tighten up the 3 bolts. We do them up nice and equally, and then we need to measure with a feeler gauge an equal gap all the way around. Okay, we fitted the 3 bolts in, and now we need to tighten them down so that we get an equal gap round about all 3 bolt positions. When the gap's equal, we know it's tightening down square onto the water pump impeller, but not too tight, just nipped enough. But the important thing is to make sure that we can measure the gap that's even all the way around. Once we've done that, we can measure the gap. In our case, we've got 20 thou gap. Okay, we've measured the gap round the cover, and we've found that we've got a 20 thou gap. What we need to do is shim that out to that 20 thou gap plus between 10 and 25 thou. So we need to add that to the 20 thou. So I'm going to add another 20 thou gasket to another 20 thou gasket to make 40 thou. In the kit you're supplied with 3 gaskets. This one's 10 thou, that one's 20 thou, and that one's 30 thou. So you can tell which ones are which by feeling how thick they are. You can buy extra gaskets as well, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use 2 20 thous instead of 3 gaskets. I fitted the 2 gaskets on. If required, you could use a thin layer of grease or Hylamar just to hold them in position while you fit them, and carefully lower the cover into position and refit the 3 bolts.